Hi, I'm Erin, Army veteran, mom, investor, and self-made multimillionaire, helping women build wealth and meaningful lives with confidence. I created What Does That Look Like because women are surrounded by advice about success, balance, and having it all, but too often we're left asking, okay, but how? This podcast is where we turn advice into action and have real conversations for women building big lives. Today, we're talking about something that many of us do without even realizing it: apologizing. Not when we've actually done something wrong, not when we've hurt someone or made a mistake. Those apologies matter. I'm talking about the apologies we hand out every day for simply existing. Sorry I'm late. Sorry to bother you. Sorry for asking. Sorry, but I have a question. Sorry, but I disagree. Somewhere along the way, many of us learned that we should soften ourselves, make ourselves smaller, and apologize for taking up space. We apologize for everything: speaking up. We apologize for setting boundaries. We apologize for pursuing our goals. We apologize for prioritizing our health, our careers, our families, sometimes even our own happiness. And there's a huge problem with this. Every unnecessary apology sends a message to ourselves and to other people that we need permission to be here. And we're teaching the little girls in our lives the same thing. So let's talk about breaking that habit. We're going to talk about why so many women apologize when they haven't done anything wrong, how that affects the way that we show up in the world, and some simple ways to replace "I'm sorry" with language that is more confident, more authentic, and ultimately more powerful. Because you don't need to apologize for having ambition. You don't need to apologize for having needs, and you certainly don't need to apologize for taking up the space that you were meant to fill. So let's get into it. Many women say "I'm sorry" when they really mean "excuse me" or "thank you" or simply "no" or "I need help," "I disagree," or maybe "I deserve this." The constant habit of apologizing subtly communicates that you need permission to exist, lead, succeed, or be heard. I want you to think about how many times you've apologized today. Maybe you apologized for asking. Maybe you said "sorry for bothering you," "sorry, but I have a question." What if I told you that most of those apologies are not necessary and that they're actually making you smaller than you need to be? This episode has three main points, okay? So the first one is I want you to stop apologizing for taking up space. So some examples of this are when you apologize for speaking up in a meeting or sharing your opinion or posting online, simply raising your hand, or starting a business. I want you to replace that sorry with "I'd like to add something." Okay, so instead of saying "sorry, I just wanted to add something," just say "I'd like to add something." That is so much more powerful and commands respect in a way that "sorry, I'd like to add something" simply doesn't. Number two, this is a really big one for women, is to stop apologizing for your priorities. We often feel guilty when we do things that we think are for ourselves or that are ultimately our priorities. So maybe we'll apologize for wanting to work out, or we feel guilty because we want to build a business or invest in ourselves, or just anything that would take away from family obligations or an obligation that somebody has put on us. I want you to know that you do not have to apologize for becoming the person that you want to be. And I know personally for me, as a mom of two girls, this doesn't really resonate for me so much. I don't feel like it's that big of a deal for me to apologize for my priorities. It's just not that important to me. But when I think about it through the lens of parenting and through this idea that I'm teaching my daughters to apologize for being who they are or wanting what they want or doing something that will ultimately allow them to be the person that they're meant to be, that is soul crushing to me. That totally breaks my heart. I don't want them to apologize for being themselves. I don't want them to apologize for taking up space or for doing the things that they want to do or should do or need to do to become the woman that they will be someday. So when you think about it that way, it's really important that we not just emulate this behavior for other women and other girls in our lives. It's important that we set the condition that allows not just us, but other women around us to also not have to apologize. Okay, so how can we do that? This leads to my third point. Let's replace "sorry" with something more powerful. Let's be more deliberate about the words that we use and try to cut "sorry" out from our vocabulary. So let's go through a couple of examples. Instead of saying "sorry for the delay," maybe you can say, thank you for your patience. Instead of saying, sorry to bother you, maybe say, do you have a moment? Instead of saying, sorry, but I disagree, try something like, I see it differently. Sometimes you can literally just eliminate sorry from it entirely. Sorry, but I have something to say. Sorry, but I'd like to speak up for a moment. Sorry to interrupt. No, maybe you just say, I have something to say. I would like to say something here. That might feel rude. It might feel out of place for you, but men do that all the time, and nobody thinks that they are rude. So let's flip this double standard on its head, and let's be more deliberate about the words that we use. So I want to talk a little bit about my journey as a career-oriented mom. When my first daughter was born, I was still in the Army, and I had plans to retire at 20 plus years, climb the ranks, become the highest ranking officer that I could be. And that was really the only thing I'd ever thought about. And after my daughter was born, I went back to work after maternity leave. 3 days later, I was told that I was going to deploy to Afghanistan. My husband, who was also active duty at the time, he's still active duty Army, he was already scheduled to go to Iraq. So we both would have been deployed when my daughter was 6 months old, from about 6 months to 12 months. At the time, and I think this is actually even worse now, but the wait list for daycare for a newborn baby was like a year. And so we had a 3-month lead time. So there was no way that I was going to be able to find childcare for her. I would have had to send her to one of her 3 sets of grandparents, choose one of the 3, and then get her set up with full-time daycare and pick the grandparents that I felt had the most energy to drive her to full-time daycare every morning, go to work all day, pick her up, and then, hang out with her all night long and deal with her through the newborn months. It was a choice that wasn't a choice. There was no way I was going to be able to make that decision and find childcare for her in that amount of time. Most importantly, it's not something that I wanted. So I resigned from the military the next day. I literally submitted my letter of resignation, absolutely exhausted, sleep deprived, because I felt like I had no choice. And I really didn't. There was not a choice here. The choice was made for me. So it takes about 6 months to get out of the military. So in that time, I pursued other employment. And because my husband was going to be deployed so often, I couldn't find anything that allowed me to work outside my home within the constraints of childcare. I was pursuing a career in project management because that's what I did when I was an Army engineer. And by the time I drove an hour to Nashville from where I was living at Fort Campbell, and worked all day and drove back, there was no childcare facility open for that amount of time. And then when I realized what those 2 hours in the car plus, a 9 hour of work was going to do for my quality of life, and the fact that I would come home, pick up my daughter, and only get a couple hours with her each day before I'd have to put her to bed at night and repeat it, it was just not something that made any sense or that I wanted to pursue. And to do it all by myself, my husband was deployed for about 18 months of the first 2 years of our first daughter's life. So he was gone all the time. And I made the decision, or really kind of came to this point because I didn't have any other choice, but I decided to be a stay-at-home mom. And I really struggled with that. I really struggled as a stay-at-home mom. I didn't enjoy it. I was bored. I was lonely. I had no family around. And I had just given up my career. My husband was gone, so it was just me 24 hours a day with a newborn baby who couldn't talk and, really didn't interact with me much. And it was a really hard time. And that's when I started investing in real estate. So that, the silver lining there is that I really was able to take control, but I didn't figure that out right away. What I struggled with was this balance of wanting to be a present and engaged mom and wanting to pursue a career. And here I am 10 years later. My daughter's 10 years old now. We've been out of the Army for 10 years, 9 years actually. And I still struggle every single day with balancing motherhood and being the mom and the wife I want to be, and my professional career and my ambition. And that struggle is so real. And so it's really easy for me to apologize or feel like I need to apologize or feel guilty for wanting a career and wanting something outside of my house and outside of my family and wanting to work towards something. But that is my reality, and that's okay. Sometimes I wish I wanted to be a stay at home mom and I was fulfilled being a stay at home mom, but the reality is that I am not. And that's okay. Nobody has ever told me that that's okay. So I hope that I can speak to you and make you aware and make you truly understand that it is okay to not want to spend all of your time with your children. It is okay to want something for yourself and want a career and want to work towards something. It is okay. It is more than okay. You have my permission to do that. I want you to give yourself permission and I want you to let the guilt go for that and let it go completely and stop apologizing for it. So, I want to leave you guys with a challenge. For the next 24 hours, every time you hear yourself saying, I'm sorry, or every time you're about to say, I'm sorry, ask yourself, did I actually do something wrong? Or am I apologizing for existing, having needs, having goals, or taking up space? If it's the second one, stop apologizing. The world does not need smaller versions of women. The world doesn't need a smaller version of you. You're not too big. You're not too anything. You are perfect. You're exactly who you're supposed to be. The world needs women to stop apologizing and start showing up exactly how you are. I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening. I hope you learned something. I hope you took something away from this, and I hope you'll share this with another amazing woman out there building a big life.